When a man suddenly gets in touch again after a few days of silence, your heart beats faster, your head is full of questions, and without realizing it, you feel that this message could decide everything. But here comes the naked truth. This message does not mean what you are hoping for. It is neither an act of love nor a sign of commitment. It is a psychological game, a silent test, an examination in which he only wants to find out one thing: whether you are still where he left you. And the hardest part, most women fail this test. They respond out of fear, out of hurt, or out of resentment, and thereby give him exactly what he wanted, the confirmation that he still has control. But you will not belong to this majority, because in this video you will learn something that will shake you. Pure psychology, straight to the point. How do you really read what is behind this message? How do you avoid mistakes that lower your value? And above all, how can you respond in such a way that he becomes more unsettled than he ever expected, without losing your center and your inner calm? When he writes to you after days of silence, you must first understand one thing that no one else tells you. This message does not mean that he has come to his senses. It does not mean that he suddenly realized he loves you. It does not mean that he has finally understood your worth. The truth is much colder, much more psychological, and at the same time revealing. He is testing you. He throws you a thread to see if you are still standing in the same place as back then. And here lies the hardest point. Most women fall into the trap because they read this message as a victory, as a sign of hope. But in reality, it is only a test. When a man disappears for days and then shows up with a "Hi, how are you?" or some empty phrase, his subconscious measures only one thing: his power over you. He offers you nothing but secretly asks, "Do I still have her under control? Does she still react the same way as before? Is she still waiting for me?" And here comes the decisive point. If you react out of fear, answer immediately, or are too happy, you confirm to him exactly what he wanted to know, that you are still revolving around his presence. Carl Jung explained that the unconscious always tries to repeat familiar patterns because it feels safe there, and that is exactly what this sudden contact after silence is. An attempt to continue the old pattern with you, that you remain the predictable woman who reacts joyfully at the first sign of life, who sets no conditions. But you are no longer here to be predictable. You are here to learn how to react in such a way that the script changes, that his power falters, that he is confronted with a side of you he has never experienced, your ability not to depend on him. Listen carefully now. His silence was never neutral. Silence is an instrument of power. A man does not remain silent for days because he forgot to write to you, but because he knows, even unconsciously, that this silence has an effect on you. Silence sows doubt, fear, insecurity. Silence makes you wonder what happened, lose focus, look at your phone constantly and feel the emptiness. And when he suddenly appears, this little message becomes like water in the desert for you. Do you see it? This is not love, this is strategy. His silence created the thirst. His message becomes the drop of water. And if you react like someone who was thirsty, you confirm to him that the technique worked. But here lies your true power, to understand that this message is not a gift, but a test of your center, your letting go, your growth, because the way you react in this moment defines not only what he thinks about you, but also what your own unconscious understands about your worth. If you react as always, you confirm your old wound, the wound of the woman who needs attention to feel complete. But if you answer from another attitude, stay calm, recognize that he is not giving you anything, but that you have the power to decide how you take it, then you change the whole dynamic. Imagine he disappears for a week. You are already annoyed, insecure, full of questions. Suddenly, a message arrives. Your old self would have answered immediately. "Nice to hear from you. I missed you. I was already worried." With that, you would have fed his ego, because it confirmed to him that his silence had no consequences, that his absence was tolerated. But your present self sees it differently. Your present self understands that his return is not an act of love, but a psychological move. And out of this clarity, you react differently. Calm, with a touch of mystery, with the security of a woman who has not waited at the door. That transforms his "I'm back" into his worst fear. Realizing that in these days you kept on living, that you did not stand still, that you did not circle around his silence, that when he came back, he found another woman, more centered, stronger, more aware. And in this moment, even if he doesn't say it, his ego trembles, because his message is no longer the leash that pulls you back, but the mirror that shows him that he no longer has you where he thought. Here lies the truth. The next time he writes to you after days of silence, do not read his words as love, but as what they are, a silent test of your inner strength, and answer from there. Because believe me, countless women make the mistake in this moment that change them. They answer from the wound. And answers from the wound have two faces: fear, disguised as joy, or resentment, disguised as reproach. They seem opposite, but at their core they are the same. The confirmation that he still has power over you. Think about it. If you see his hello and immediately respond overly enthusiastically, you silently say, "I waited for you. Thank you for coming back." That does not lift you. It only feeds his ego. Because he understands, I can disappear whenever I want, and when I come back, she receives me as if nothing happened. If instead you react with resentment, with a sarcastic, "Finally, you remember me, what a miracle, your message," then you only show the other side of the same wound. You show that his silence hurt you and that you waited for him all the time. Both reactions, fear or resentment, are confirmations. You confirm that his silence worked. You confirm that he was in your head. You confirm that you are still revolving around him. And believe me, men feel that, even if they say nothing. The male unconscious is a master at recognizing emotional weaknesses. If he feels that your reaction is marked by fear or anger, he thinks, "I still have her. I am still her center. I can keep playing." Carl Jung said, "Repressed emotions do not disappear. They are projected." If you respond with, "Great, you left me hanging," or "What a miracle," you project your frustration. He does not hear your words. He hears your wound. And instead of feeling guilty, he feels powerful, because your reaction shows that it mattered too much to you. That is the crucial point. Both the fearful and the angry response are easy to see through. They are predictable, ordinary, and what is ordinary leaves no impression. What is ordinary is not respected. What is ordinary is taken for granted. Your biggest mistake would be to make this moment a stage on which he is confirmed that he has control over your emotions. Because never forget, true attraction, genuine respect, deep fascination do not arise from him seeing you happy or angry, but from him not being able to see through you. A clear example, he gets in touch after a week with a simple, "Hello, how are you?" The fearful answer would be to immediately write back, "Hello, nice to hear from you. I am glad you are back." This answer says, "Your absence changed nothing. I am still here, available." The angry answer would be, "Finally, I thought you had forgotten me." And this one, although it sounds strong, in truth means, "I waited for you all the time and it hurt me." Do you notice the difference? One reaction tries to please, the other tries to punish, but in both cases, the focus remains on him. And as long as he remains the focus, you lose. What you must imprint on yourself is this: every time you react with fear or accusations, you show your subconscious that your worth depends on his actions. You make it clear to your own psyche that your peace lies in his hands. Step by step, this pattern solidifies until you yourself believe it, that you are powerless, that you will always wait, that your reaction will always be directed only by him. But if you decide not to fall into this trap anymore, if you choose to break the automatic reaction, then something decisive happens. You not only change how he sees you, you change above all how you see yourself. True strength does not lie in punishing him or pleasing him. It lies in showing yourself as a woman who has not lost her center, who does not turn a message after days into a major event, who does not have to prove her worth through haste or overreaction. Here is the secret that hardly anyone tells you. If you react fearfully, he wins. If you react accusingly, he wins. If you react calmly, clearly, and with strategic composure, you win. Not because you want to manipulate him, but because you are teaching your subconscious. My life does not depend on a message, not because you want to punish him, but because you realize my worth does not change with his coming and going. Not because you pretend to be cold, but because you consciously do not hand over power to him. That is the difference between a woman who wears herself out and a woman who grows. One reacts from the wound, the other responds from her center. One confirms that she is still waiting, the other shows that she has kept living. One loses value, the other becomes a mystery. And believe me, for a man there is nothing more disturbing than receiving an energy that he did not expect, cannot control, cannot classify. Therefore, imprint this on yourself. When he writes to you after days of silence, the worst thing you can do is show that you have been waiting for him. Your strength lies in making it clear that your life has not stood still, that your worth does not depend on his timing, that your power is not given away in a chat window. That is exactly where most women make their biggest mistake, and exactly where your chance lies to never repeat it again. Because when a man returns after days, he expects everything, your joy or your anger. But what he never expects is your strongest weapon, your pause. The pause is silence, but not a vacuum. It is delay, but not indifference. It is the secret language of self-worth. When he writes, and you do not respond immediately, when you breathe, wait, process, something is stirred in him. For the first time, he feels that he does not determine your time, that you are not immediately available, that your life does not revolve around a small notification. This pause, as insignificant as it may seem, confronts him more than 1,000 accusations. An accusation he can deny, ignore, or even throw back at you. You are too dramatic, you exaggerate, that is why I distanced myself. But against your pause there is no defense. It is irrefutable. Your silence pulls the ground from under him. He realizes that his message no longer has the same power over you. Carl Jung said, "What we do not express in words shows itself in symbols." And the pause is exactly that, a powerful symbol. A symbol of your independence, a mirror showing that your life is not waiting for him. A message directly to his subconscious. Your silence has not suffocated me. I have learned to breathe alone. And that is exactly what disarms him the most. Because if you welcome him with fear, it confirms his power. If you welcome him with accusations, it confirms his place in your head. But if you welcome him with calmness, with a pause, with a space he cannot interpret, then for the first time he truly feels challenged. Imagine this scenario. He disappears for 5 days and you spend 3 of them imagining what you would do if he comes back. On the 6th day, he shows up with a simple hello. Your automatic reaction would be to answer immediately, but you choose a pause. You leave the message, let him feel the echo of his own absence. In his mind, chaos begins. Why isn't she answering? Is she busy? Does she not care? Does she maybe have someone else? What before was his power, making you wait, suddenly becomes his fear, that now he has to wait for you. That is the magic of your pause. It flips the roles. It puts him in the state of uncertainty, of not knowing, of feeling that maybe he has lost control. But here is something important. The pause is not a cheap trick. It does not work if behind it there is only disguised fear. The pause is real when it comes from your center, from your calmness, from the knowledge that your life does not depend on this message. If you play it as a cold strategy, he will sense it at some point. But if it is an expression of your worth, a consequence of your composure, then it becomes a magnet. Because what truly captivates a man is not indifference, it is serenity. What makes him fear losing you is not that you ignore him, but that you welcome him without needing him. An everyday example, he writes to you in the evening after days of silence, expecting immediate confirmation. You see the message, smile, and decide to reply only the next day. This pause takes away the certainty he was seeking. His ego wanted immediate validation and received only emptiness. This emptiness does not destroy him, but it makes him curious. And curiosity is the beginning of obsession. The riddle of not knowing what you think, not knowing how you react, not being able to read your feelings in real time, that is more powerful than any declaration of love. Here lies the power of your pause. Every minute he waits for your response, every hour he has no access to your emotions, is a brutal reminder that you are no longer as predictable as he thought. Your strategic silence weighs more than any discussion, because you give him nothing with which he can justify himself or belittle you. And this weight forces him to see you differently. Instead of thinking, she is always there for me, he suddenly thinks, she is no longer so available, maybe I have already lost her. This change does not happen through words, but through your pause, through your ability to remain calm, not rush, not immediately fill the emptiness he created. And this is what is truly transformative. This pause not only confronts him, it also changes you, because every time you do not respond out of fear, when you give yourself space before reacting, when you show that your life did not stop because he was silent, you reprogram yourself internally. Your mind learns to connect your worth with your calmness, not with his attention. Your heart recognizes itself as whole, even without his messages. Your energy becomes a magnetic field he cannot control. The pause is not absence but power, not coldness but clarity, not punishment but respect for yourself. That is the strength that challenges him more than any accusation, because while he tries to interpret your silence, he finds only one thing, his own fear, the fear of having lost you. And now to the crucial point. Most women do not fail in waiting, not in the pause. They fail in the response. These few words can raise your value to the sky or destroy it in seconds. Because what you write is not just a text, it is a mirror. You unconsciously show him from which place you are connecting with him, from neediness, from anger, or from your security. The naked truth, 80% of women ruin the effect with their response and believe they are being emotionally intelligent. Example, he disappears for days and then sends a, "How are you?" The needy answer sounds like, "How nice to hear from you. I was just thinking about you." The reproachful answer sounds like, "Finally, I thought you were dead." The result? In both cases, you confirm to him what he wanted to confirm, that his silence moved you, that he is still the center of your attention. But there is a third option, the answer of value. It sounds neither needy nor hurt, but calm, clear, sovereign. It confronts him with the truth that your life went on without him. Carl Jung explained that symbols are stronger than long speeches. And in messages, your words are exactly such symbols of your inner energy. A "nice to hear from you" while you are almost breaking inside does not convey calm but hidden fear. A "almost forgot you" does not come across strong but hurtful, but a short, calm, neutral answer carries more power than a whole essay. Example, he writes, "Hello, how are you?" You answer, "All good, thanks." This "all good" weighs more than 1,000 reproaches because it does not put him in the center. This "thanks" sounds polite, but not like an open door. Exactly such answers create a mystery. How all good? What did she do? Where was she? Why does she sound so composed? What confuses him most is not what you say, but what you don't reveal. But beware, that does not mean pretending to be cold or indifferent. The mistake on the other side would be to respond deliberately distant or arrogant, with sentences like, "I hardly remember you," or "I don't care if you write or not." That does not build attraction, but defense, and defense does not generate respect, only empty power games. The art lies in balance, neither opening the door wide as if nothing happened, nor slamming it shut with a vengeful bang. The golden mean is a short, calm, neutral, but clear tone, enough to sound polite, not enough to give him back the feeling that he has control again. Think of it this way: your message is not an invitation, it is a mirror. Every response from you should reflect the woman you are now, who does not wait, does not beg, does not chase, but also does not freeze in resentment. Examples of answers that radiate value. Good, thanks. Hope you're well too. All quiet here, lots to do, but it's fine. All signal, your life goes on. You have things to do. Your world has not stood still. No details, no handing over control, no trace of fear. Instead, a mirror of a solid center. The difference between available and valuable lies in the intention. Available sounds like, "I want to please you. I want you to want me again. I open to you without conditions." Valuable sounds like, "I answer because I am polite, not because my life depends on you. I show that I am fine, but I do not hand over the story to you." And here lies the decisive point. Men do not respect the woman who exhausts herself for them, nor the one who meets them with reproaches. They respect the woman who meets them with calm, with naturalness, with the touch of her own life, because that says, "I am not your prize just because you showed up. I am a woman you can choose to appreciate or to lose." The psychology is clear. If your answer does not match his expected script, his mind goes into tension. He expected confirmation. He gets a riddle. He expected power. He gets neutrality. He expected control. He gets the reminder that he has lost it. Exactly this tension is what makes him fear losing you, and exactly this fear forces him to see you differently. So, remember this, it's not about what he writes down, it's about how you respond. Your words are your mirror. Every answer is a chance to show value or to lose it. Every inconspicuous all good in your calm reminds him, you are not predictable, not dependent, not automatically his, and exactly this small difference decides everything. Because his message after days of silence is not a banal hello, it is a silent battlefield. The way you respond decides who stands in the center, he with his ego, or you with your value. Because what most people do not understand, relationships do not hold on to who loves more or who fights more. They hold on to the one who has the psychological strength to set the rhythm. And when a man plays with silence, then he is testing exactly that, whether you are the one waiting or whether in the end he is the one who has to wait. A message from you may seem small, but it is a symbol, a mirror in which he recognizes whether he still has you safely or whether suddenly he is the one who has to move. That is the true power of your reaction. The story of Isabella is not an isolated case. Many women who decide not to fall into the trap anymore discover the same. When they no longer play the old script, the dynamic changes. And when the dynamic reverses, the man stops playing with his disappearance and begins to feel that now he is the one who carries the risk of being forgotten. And tell me, isn't that exactly what you always wanted? That he fears losing you? That he values your presence? That he realizes that his silence is no longer a weapon against you, but a mirror of his own insecurity? Next time he writes to you after days of silence, do not see it as an opportunity to cling. See it as an opportunity to show your center. Your answer can be short, it can be simple, but its energy says everything. Because in that moment, you are not just responding to a message, you are redefining who has the power in this story. And when this power returns to you, believe me, nothing stays the same. Conclusion. When a man writes to you after days of silence, it is not a gift, not proof of love, not a sign of commitment. It is a test of your strength, your calm, your ability not to fall back into the old pattern. His message only wants to confirm whether you are still revolving around him, whether his absence hurt you so much that he can feel powerful. But you are no longer here to confirm his ego. You are here to prove to yourself that your value does not depend on a chat, that your peace is not negotiable with a delayed message, and that your strength lies in how you choose to respond. Because this moment, your answer, decides everything, whether he continues to stand in the center or whether you do, whether you are the predictable woman who waits or the valuable woman who goes on living and does not need to beg for attention. Exactly here lies the true victory. Not in what he thinks of you, but in what you show yourself. And I want you to write it now immediately in the comments as a clear sign of your decision. My answer gives me back the power. That is the difference between the woman who begs to be chosen and the woman who, with calm presence, chooses herself to become unforgettable. And if this message resonated with you, then now leave your strong like, subscribe to the channel, and be sure to activate the bell. And if you feel in your heart that you want to support this space even more, you can now become a channel member and enjoy exclusive benefits. For example, priority in answers to your comments and psychological questions, co-determination in the next videos, and closer guidance on your path of transformation. But don't go yet. On the screen, you now find 2 videos full of valuable insights. Choose one of them, and we will see each other there. As always, I am Gabriel, your psychologist and philosopher. See you soon.